Certainly, it's good to find a way to win in week one. But kind of like we talked about before, and I said, there's a lot of things in week one you're always worried about. 3 turnovers in the first half, or just those are things that you can't do and win football games. And there's a lot of things to clean up for us. I think it's good that our team is at this spot, where you win a game, somewhat comfortably, I guess. But you kind of feel like there's a lot more for you out there. So in week one, the most improvement should happen between week 1 and 2, and it needs to happen between week 1 and 2. I think defensively, you got to be really proud about the way those guys played. Mason Norsees, I'm sure you guys noticed, didn't play tonight. His father passed yesterday, and so he had to go back to be with his family naturally. So we're praying for Mason and his family. They're an extremely close family. So I told the team it put some of these things into perspective a little bit, and certainly Mason was where he needed to be tonight. But he's a huge piece of this defense that we were certainly missing, and I'm proud of our kids on defense for stepping up. 3 turnovers, like I said, in the first half, and defensively did a really good job. Didn't allow a touchdown off of either of those 3. Held them to no points a number of times as well off those turnovers. So those are things that are good. I think our team stayed together. We got to clean up some of our specialist play. Again, I expected that a little bit. First-time punter, first-time returners. You're going to have some of those things that are going to happen. Certainly, you hope it doesn't cost you turnovers and things like that. But for us, it's always a double-edged sword. When you play like that, it's good to get a win. But I do think it's also good because there's some value in saying, all right, guys, we're not where we want to be, even though we've been saying that. When we watch the tape tomorrow with them, it's gonna be obvious that we're not where we want to be, and that's okay. We just got to get back to work. Especially with next week being a conference game.
Coach, obviously, like you mentioned, 3 turnovers and things like that. In the situations where defense had to make big stands when they were backed up after the fumble recovery and things like that, how big was it to see them bow their backs and make plays to put you guys in position to, hold Northwestern to essentially, 6 points and then obviously the touchdown at the end?
It's huge. You preach team ball and you preach sudden change and you talk about those momentum plays that, they did a great job of stopping momentum, right? Those are opportunities for the other team. You get the ball back, you go down, you score, and then that completely kind of shifts momentum and things like that. But our defense was able to put the fire out every time. So, hats off. Coach Morgan and that defensive staff have done a phenomenal job since they got here. All right, and our players, I thought, flew around. I thought played really fast and physical, and that's what we need. Those guys I thought showed up and really played well. And there's gonna be things we got to fix there and some fits and things, but those guys played really good football last night. The only negative maybe you say is there wasn't a takeaway. But it's funny. You want to praise the good things, and we will for sure. But you're never really there. When you do it right, and there's always going to be things to fix. And no one's more of a perfectionist than Lamar Morgan. And so we'll get back to it with that group too. But I'm extremely proud of them. Dang, they kept that game from kind of having the pendulum swing a little bit, and it kept us to where we were kind of in front the whole time, so that was huge.
Coach, how would you grade Ben's performance after his first game back?
I'll grade him after I watch the tape, but I thought he did some good things. Certainly, I told him after the game, I said, if you thought you were going to come back and not have any rust, you're kidding yourself. But no, I'm proud of Ben. He goes out there, he stands in there. We did not protect very well tonight. That was disappointing, to say the least. I think their defense did a good job. I think they had a good scheme up front. They ran a bunch of games. Their D lineman did a good job executing them, but that doesn't matter. We knew what we were going to get, and we've got to clean that up because, we've got guys running. They're challenging us, and we've got guys running in the secondary, and got to be able to protect and get the ball off. It's not a numbers issue. It's losing whenever we've got an opportunity to keep it protected numbers-wise. So that's something that I am not very pleased with. And that affects everybody, completion percentage sucks, but when you're getting hit and you're getting, hit whenever you're trying to throw the ball and you got to throw it away and all that stuff, it's hard to be really efficient. So we got a lot of work to do right there, and we're going to get back to it, and that'll help him play better.
from a pass rushing standpoint too. Jordan Lawson had 2 sacks. Overall, as a defensive line, they had 5. How important was it to be able to apply pressure and see those guys, get those sacks too?
Well, I mean, I think the most impressive thing is that a lot of it was on 3-man rushes, and 4-man rushes. It wasn't truly pressures, it was things where those guys were in one-on-one situations. And we've talked about how we felt we had some guys that were unique pass rushers that could get to the quarterback. In a game, especially where you're stopping the run like we did, it goes to turns into a passing game, right? That's how they're going to try to get explosives and yards and move the ball. And then, you're getting in the quarterback's face. And I mean, the biggest thing about playing quarterback, we talked about Ben, it is hard when there's pressure in your face to stand in there time after time and make those throws. So it's a cumulative effect. We didn't get a bunch of sacks early, but we were kind of getting close. And as the game went on, we started getting home. So I think that was huge. You had a couple drives where, a couple sacks take them out of field goal range, and it keeps them to no points. So a lot of good things there. Was really pleased with those guys rushing the passer. Had a couple that we could have had, on the game, didn't execute on the 4th down. We just got to tighten it up and get it done where we can make those plays. But there's that group has a really high ceiling, and it looked good from the sideline tonight the way they played.
Gant, I thought he, especially in the first half, was just aggressive and all over the place.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, he's a guy that really has just continued to get better since he's gotten here. And last year he played the whole year with a hurt shoulder, and put off surgery to the end of the year because he wanted to play and wanted to contribute. And he's one of the few guys we have that missed the spring, but he worked really, really hard to get himself back in position this summer and this fall camp to go out there and go affect the game. And Gant's a tremendous athlete, always has been, but he's playing right now really confident within the system. He knows what we're doing. He knows what he's supposed to do. I mean, he had a lot of plays in coverage that I was really pleased with, where they're trying to high-low him and he's cell technique and he's playing it. He's playing the high down to the low. Like, those are things that he's come a really long way with that. I mean, he's grown physically. I mean, he's a thumper now. I mean, he gets in there and mixes it up. I think he's another one of those pieces on defense that, you got guys that are fast, long, and physical, and that's, when you have that, you got a chance out there.
Neal did, I think he was like 11 targets and 3 catches. He dropped 1. There was a couple overthrows. Were they putting extra pressure on it, coverage on him, or why do you think that was such a tough connection tonight?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. He had a couple opportunities to make. There's one that's definitely, should have caught, and there was a couple of them that could have caught. We got to. We're going to tell the quarterback's got to be more accurate with throw. We talk a lot about taking pride in being accurate, making them a runner after the catch. But we've talked about the contested catches, right? And the tough things, whenever you're playing that position, and the ball's not always going to be between the numbers. So, Neal's a perfectionist and Neal's a worker. So I know, he's going to come back and, he's going to get right back to it and he's going to bounce back. And, that's what I told him in the locker room. He's not pleased with the way he played. I told him, I said, well, I mean, one game doesn't define you unless you let it, and I certainly don't expect him to do that.
Des, you talked early in preseason practice about working guys at different spots along the offensive line. Do you anticipate potentially maybe shifting some guys around just to give them a different look at a different position going forward?
Well, I think hopefully we'll get Quentin Williams back this week, and that adds another one right there. We played 6 in the normal part of the game with Caden Worrell being the 6th. James played at the end, so we'll go back and look at how he played too. I'm not a knee-jerk reaction guy. I say it all the time. I don't think one day dictates who you are. If you live in that world, golly, you're pulling people and starting. I don't believe that's it. I just don't think it was our best tonight, best execution. But hopefully you get Quentin back and Caden, and you got 7 in the rotation, and maybe James does play a little bit more, and that gives you 8 that you're playing that are playing well. While those young guys keep coming along. But tonight we had an opportunity. I really think if we could have cashed in a little bit earlier to play, some young guys and to get to play them in a game that it's important. Any snaps that you get that are meaningful. That's why we didn't take a knee at the end. That's why we let them run the ball and try to let them compete a little bit. No, it's not going to be a knee-jerk thing. We gotta improve and we got to work there.
We talked about Rob Williams all throughout preseason camp. He gets his first career touchdown. How much is that going to help to boost his confidence as he continues to progress through the season?
Well, certainly you hope it helps a lot. I mean, Rob is a really talented player, and I mean, I think before you've ever really done it, you always kind of hope you can go do it. And Rob played well tonight. I thought just kind of, from the sideline, we had him open on a couple other ones, that we just kind of couldn't get it protected. The pick was actually to him. He had it, so, I thought Rob played well, just kind of watching from the side. But I think doing it in the game certainly adds to the confidence factor, right? And it puts you in position where you're saying, okay, like everything that I've worked for, all right, I went out there and I've done it, and now you just kind of keep banking reps. So, I mean, it's definitely a good thing. And hopefully for us, that receiver group can continue to elevate their game and continue to play better. And, we'll protect better, and we'll, play better at quarterback, and we'll be a little more efficient in the pass game.
Were you pleased with the running game?
For the most part, yeah. For the most part, I think, their plan, it was obviously to stop the inside zone stuff, so we kind of figured that out a little bit early on. And we got to the edge a little bit. And then the end of the game, they kind of, it's checkers, right? So they start widening out, and then we get back inside and did some things. So I think the communication between the staff was really good on what we're getting defensively and kind of the way things are going. I thought we blocked it up pretty good, to be honest with you. There was a lot of movement in there, which that's just kind of what the game is now, especially in our league. I know they're not in our league, but it's very similar style of play. Coach Desormeaux was here last year, their D-line coach. So, it's chopping up the front and doing those things. So we're going to see a lot of it. So that was a good thing. I thought our backs really did a good job. I thought they pressed the runs. Thought they did a good job finishing runs vertically. It wasn't a whole lot of dancing. It was decisive. Hit it. Let's go. Certainly the one fumble happens. It's a young player that, you got to protect the football in those situations. And, sometimes you try and do a little bit too much. And, that turns into, that goes from a 3-yard line to they returned 70-something yards the other way, So that was a critical play in the game, but we were able to get Zylan back in there. He got a kick return, and we were able to get him going a little bit. So, in the long run, you need him to bounce back because he's a unique player. We need him to play well. So, there's a lot of stuff in the run game that I thought we did a lot better. It's just, like I said, you kind of never really happy till you got it all clicking, so it's kind of a miserable life sometimes, but we'll keep working to fix the other stuff and get a little bit better in the run game too.
Man, Louisiana been having this weird weather stuff going on. You got to push it back 7:30, then after that you get a lightning delay. What was your emotions going on through that lightning delay?
Oh man, it's just, you talk to the kids about trying to control what you can control, and we're human too, I get frustrated with it, but it's just, it comes down to, you just got to control what you can, and it was kind of a lot of, and then the poor kid on their team, that looked like a pretty serious injury, there was just a lot of stoppages in the games and things like that that just, it's kind of hard to kind of find your rhythm sometimes in there. But I thought our kids for the most part did a pretty good job. It was just kind of different, it was like, winning the game, and we're doing some good things, but it just felt like the high was here, and then it was just kind of on the way down from there. We got to try to find a way to keep that energy the whole game, because certainly I expect a lot of games to be closer and more challenging than that, and you can't have a lull in there. So that's kind of what I was worried about a little bit, right? This team, I knew they were going to be like on edge to go out there and play. I knew the emotions were going to be really high. So when you get the weather delay, that was my biggest concern was, oh man, now we got to try to bottle it back up and try to, get it going again. But I thought our players did a pretty good job coming out and starting fast. We just gotta try to find a way to maintain it the whole time.
Corey, you're up, so.
That's with conference play starting next week. Game like this for a guy like Key, how good was it for him to go out there and help contribute to what I thought was a pretty good pass defense?
You took Key Barnes?
Martin.
Keon, got you.
Yeah.
Our pass defense I thought was really, really good. Gave up 110 yards on 28 attempts, and I don't know, probably 40 of them came on the last drive there. So I think it's really big for us. I've been saying it. Keon and Caleb have been playing so good. You expect them to go play well, but again, you got to go out there and go do it. So for us, it was fun to see them go and play well. You know, for him, we need him to play well. You know, pass defense, got to be able to contest it. You know, you can't sit in zone all day or you get picked apart. Got to be able to mix in man and zone, and we have some guys that can do that, and that was good to see. But certainly, you know, it's just, you know, it's going to keep getting harder as the schedule goes.
Right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
We got Casey.